Hi everybody, Michelle Scaife again here, the Extension Agent with Better Living for Texans, part of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. Today I am out in our County Extension Office, Master Gardener Gardens, and I'm in the lettuce bed. I've had a handful of questions pop up recently about growing lettuces here in Montgomery County, but not just growing them, but harvesting them. So let's take a look at that right now. This particular bed, as you can see, is a cinder block bed. These are some of the smaller, more narrow cinder blocks. They are buried down in the ground. If you can look right here, they're partially buried. So about 1/3 of this cinder block is buried in the ground, and that creates some stability because these tend to tip over quite simply, quite easily, if they're not somewhat buried in the ground or they don't have a rebar down in them that's kind of spiked and holding them in. This is a great way to make a really narrow, small bed situation for something such as leafy greens or green beans, herbs, things of that nature. What we have growing here right now, this is a variety of small romaine lettuces. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Lettuce is a challenge in Montgomery County because we tend to have a lot of very warm weather and not a lot of cold weather. Lettuces are cold weather crops. They love cold temperatures. They like part shade to full sun. Really, in our area, preferred some shady days would be fine. But this particular one is called a dwarf or mini romaine lettuce. It comes in the traditional green, but you can also find a bronze or red variety. Both do well, both grow well during the fall, winter, early spring months. Crops like this, they are not gonna thrive once we hit mid to late March, early April. It's just gonna be too warm. They will die back, succumb to pests. It will just be too hot for them. But right now, as you can see, we have some perfect examples of it. Now, another thing about lettuces here in Montgomery County, you're not going to see them become that very compact, tall head of lettuce that you're typically going to see at the grocery store. These are, I'm going to scooch back for just a second and show you. This is the largest one. And if you look at my hand, you know, it's about 8 inches in height, and the center has some compaction, but it doesn't have a real solid, compact head like you're used to seeing with lettuce crops at the grocery store. And that's fine because we still have, pardon my hand there, a really good head of lettuce. We have some fairly sturdy leaves, and we have a lot of nutrient density, beautiful color. Lettuce is a cut and come again crop. Now, we don't just grow small romaines out here. We have plenty of other beds that have butter crunch, again, a light head leaf lettuce. It does get a ball to it, but it's not a firm head. We have beautiful leaf lettuces such as black-seeded Simpson, red sales, which are going to produce beautifully in our area. But with this one right here, I want to show you a couple things about harvesting. I tend to carry a colander with me out to the garden when I'm going to harvest, especially if I'm harvesting greens. It's just a great way to put things down in the colander, and you can kind of shake it if there's any dirt to get it off before you get it to the house. There's 2 different ways we can harvest lettuce like this. We can come out here and simply take those outer leaves, give them a good pinch with our thumb, and harvest just the outer leaves. And you'll see here, you can tell that this has been harvested some today. So again, we're just gonna pull back down here, pinch a nice good leaf, and take that with us. Another way we could do this is to simply come out about an inch and a half from the soil line and cut this entire thing off. Leave that root, leave that base in the ground, but take all of the leaves off of a few of these plants. What's going to happen is, as long as we continue to have the cooler weather, the center of that base will grow another entire head or bunching head of lettuce. So these are cut and come again. You can do that with any of the greens, whether it is kale, mustards, Swiss chard, you can do that with any of the lettuces. They work beautifully, and that way we've got a continuous crop. As you can see, we've done cutting, but these outer leaves are continuing to grow. All of these lettuces have had some of the outer leaves cut back from them. So that's my tip for the day. Of course, if your lettuce is in a colander, you just take it in, give it a good rinse, pat it dry, tuck it in the refrigerator for dinner tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them for you. Again, my name is Michelle Scaife, and I'm the Extension Agent in Montgomery County with Better Living for Texans.